Look at verse 6. For thus says the Lord of hosts, yet once, it's a little while, and I'll shake the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the dry land. He says, I'm the Lord of all the universe. He says, you're all caught up in your little world here. You're just living in this little mountainside, and you forget the fact I'm the Lord of all the universe. And he wants to remind us of that tonight. Whatever's going on in our little world, he's still the Lord of hosts, the God of the universe. He's the Lord of all the nations, too. In verse 7, I'll shake all the nations. The desire of all the nations shall come, and I'll fill this house with glory, says the Lord of hosts. Of course, that's a millennial promise to Israel. And it is going to be true that there is going to be a temple rebuilt right there in Jerusalem. And it's going to be large enough, in fact, Ezekiel gives the dimensions of it. It's going to be so large that the whole world is going to be able to come through it. Just hundreds of millions of people. It'll be like Disney World. Just the biggest attraction in the world is going to be the millennial temple. And the Jews are going to be sitting at the head of the nations. And look what it says. It says, the wealth of all the nations, the desire, it's speaking of their desires, their wealth, will come, and I'll fill this house with glory. And Ezekiel describes that when the glory of God returns to that temple. And actually, God's glory cloud will rest on that millennial temple in a future Israel. Well, he's also the Lord of all wealth. Look at verse 8. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, says the Lord of hosts. We forget that, don't we? We think it's mine. I just had someone talk to me, and they said, I save my money. I said, why do you save money? They said, I love saving money. They said, I want to get as much as I can get. I said, for what? Money's a tool. What would you think of someone that just bought tools all day? They never used them. They just put them in their garage, bought tools. They just liked tools. They didn't even know what they were for. They didn't use them. You'd think they're foolish, wouldn't you? Same thing with money. The Lord says use money for eternity. Don't just collect it. It's a tool. Use it. He's the Lord of all wealth. He gives it and he takes it away. It's always his. He's the Lord of all glory. Verse 9, the glory of this latter house will be greater than the former. By the way, the people were all crying. What happened was the captivity was only 70 years. And some of those people lived a good, long, full life. And so at the dedication of the second temple, Zerubbabel's temple, which looked just like kind of like a cabin out in the woods compared to Solomon's temple that was lined with cedar and had gold and it was inlaid and it was carved and it was imported and not one stone, all the stones exactly fit. Everything was tooled and shaped and chiseled out at the mines, and he'd hired Hiram and all that. You know what God said? He says, I'm the Lord of glory. I'm the one that knows, and I'm the one that gives glory, and it doesn't matter if it's a shack. If I'm in it, that's all that matters. And I think that's something that we need to learn in our lives. Not always think about the good old days, but think about the fact of today that God is with me.